Visitors of sportsmanagement.cc. This is Remco, and with another interview, this time with Tracy Evans on the other line. Tracy is from Utah, and Tracy is also a three-time Olympian. She practiced freestyle skiing, as I understood, specialized in aerials, and she has also some nice and interesting activities doing these days. So I would like to, Tracy, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. So let's start with your background as athlete. You went to the games of Lillehammer, Nagano, and Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
correct?
that is right. Yeah.
Okay. And can I just ask you, what was the most memorable edition and
Yeah.
why?
That's always a tough one. My brother was also on the U.S. team as an aerialist for many years. When he retired, he went on and coached the Australian freestyle Olympic team for aerials. So he was actually coaching during the Lillehammer game for Australia while I was competing in Australia or in Lillehammer. So, and my folks were over there. So that was kind of a Lillehammer was very special, obviously being in my first Olympic Games, and then also having my brother there coaching as well as my whole family. So that was Lillehammer was just a spectacular Olympics. They really did such an awesome job with it, and it was just so quaint and it was very in a small area. It wasn't like spread out across the city, so it was very nice. It was just a great experience. And so Lillehammer was great, but I can't, it's rare that an Olympian gets to compete or an athlete gets to compete in the Olympics in their own country. Well, in 2002 in Salt Lake, living in Park City, Utah, I was able to now, compete in my own country, but compete basically in my backyard. So it was obviously also I had a ton of family that was able to make it out, and so ending here in Salt Lake City was just also an amazing way to end a career. So that, it's hard to pick a specific or one Olympics only that really meant something special to me because they all did in some way.
Okay. I think you have a nice memory of Nagano in the background there.
Oh, yeah, my those are my kids in the
Right.
background, and Lily hopped up that way.
Okay.
I have to get my
Okay.
my
That's nice.
outfit.
That's
That's
nice.
why.
Okay. Okay. Now, switching from an athlete to a more professional challenge, you're casting director, if I'm correctly, of
Yep,
Athlete Source.
yep.
Tell us about it.
Athlete Source, yeah. Basically, it stemmed from my brother being a sports agent after he retired, and some of his athletes that he represented being put into commercials, like especially during the Olympic times. In the U.S., there's always an influx of a lot of Olympic commercials leading up to the games, and um, basically, yeah, I competed to Nagano. I retired after the 98 games, took 2 years off, and then came back for 2002 games. So when I retired, I moved down to Los Angeles and opened up Athlete Source. And it initially started off as a talent agency representing talent. And then I transitioned it into casting because it was just more my cup of tea. I like being able to, as a casting director, I work more with the production company and the ad agencies, finding the right talent and putting them through auditions. Um, and yeah, it's one of the things I love about Athlete Source is that as an athlete, I'm able to also reach out to different avenues that other casting directors don't necessarily or may not necessarily have the access to through my Olympic connections and alumni and all sorts of things. But what's best is that I get to find athletes, elite athletes like myself, and be able to provide an opportunity, bless you, um, an opportunity for them to make some money to cover some of their training. And if I had known of anything like this when I was competing, it sure as heck would have been great to do a commercial or a print ad, um, and be able to, like I said, help cover some of our training costs because we're not, especially in the states, we're not funded by our government. And so, and I don't know, the sports that we're in, you have to love the sport that you're doing versus you're not going to be, even if you're a medalist, you're not going to live off the winnings of your medal forever. So Athlete Source has been it's basically, like I said, I mainly work with just casting athletes in sport specific productions, commercials, print,
And
that
like
kind
you
of thing.
say, do you have like a peak when the Olympics are near the door or any other championships, or is this
Yep.
something that continuously you are working in?
It's definitely a continuous cycle of work because I have worked on commercials, from everything with just active lifestyle runners for, maybe, some kind of medicine to obviously a Nike where it's just full on, all sorts of, basketball, football, track and field, all sorts of sports. I definitely have cast everything from skateboarders to Olympic divers to, like I said, basketball players. So it runs the gamut of extreme sports to traditional sports to Olympic sports. Yes, they're for the Olympics, but in general, it's still, I mean, sports are used in commercials and print ads all the time. So it's very much an ongoing year-round thing.
Being in the niche of athletes slash Olympic athletes, are you the only one, or do you have quite some
Doing
competitors?
what I'm doing, no, as far as I know, I don't know anyone else. There's other casting directors that are that work on sport projects for sure, but not with my background.
Okay, okay. I saw on the quite extensive list of clients and different commercials and movies. I saw Gatorade, McDonald's, NBC, Nike, like you said. But I also saw the Asian Games.
Yeah,
That was some work you did overseas?
you know what? It was all the casting was done in Los Angeles, believe it or not. Yeah, and all the filming was done, but it was, yeah, the Asian Games. That was a big project and a big undertaking because obviously all the ethnicity had to be obviously specific to the Asian Games, obviously, and but it was a great project. But it's amazing. I mean, definitely there's clients from all over the world that I work with, but the majority of the casting and the shooting is done here in the States and more specifically California.
Okay, okay. I wasn't aware of that, so that's nice to
Yeah.
know.
Yep.
Okay, you're also involved in People Helping People International.
Yes. Yep.
That's, I think, a not-for-profit organization.
It is. It is.
Okay.
Yep.
And I would like to first focus on the Golden Games, the project.
Yeah. People Helping People was actually established by my father initially for a project he was working on. And then the Golden Games basically came about because my upbringing in my dad's company, he basically worked with nursing homes and hospitals and assisted care facilities for seniors, et cetera, providing dietary software services, food service, basically. So I was always exposed to the senior generation for many, many years, growing up, et cetera. And so I always found that it was something that kind of the seniors, once they were in a nursing home of sorts, they're kind of forgotten about, and yet they're also still very able and motivated still. But it's just kind of a lost, I think, population sometimes. So I just had an idea of basically, trying to give them a year-round program that's a healthy living program that they can train for, but giving them also a goal, which is the Golden Games event each year that it culminates with to come, everyone comes together and you compete for medals. It's a mini Olympics. We have opening ceremonies and speaker, and they compete in their events that they've trained for throughout the year. And then I usually have Olympians that come down and hand out medals. The Golden Games is in Salt Lake City, Utah.
So, and
So
how many
that's
participants do you
that's
have?
Usually between 100 and 200 people.
That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah,
So that's basically also a not-for-profit event. So yeah, I guess you
it
need
is.
to
Yeah.
do some fundraising. And if I can just ask you about that experience, fundraisers, because I guess most of the sport organizations around the world, we are not for profit, but we need not only volunteers, we need sponsorships. What would be the best tip taking
Yeah.
into account if you organize a fundraising event?
I think that's a really great question because um, I think that's something that I've been trying to figure out because fundraising everyone does. It's trying to find something that's a little unusual or new, because it's the same old, buy a table and go to a stuffy dinner, and it's that's and granted, it raises money, and it's not that it doesn't work, but for me right now, I guess for People Helping People is the actual nonprofit. The programs under it are Golden Games and Kids Play International. Those are two programs, and yeah, it's we're still, we're still doing fundraisers at a level where there's very trying to keep the overhead low, so that obviously, and that it doesn't cost us an arm and a leg. That we're not obviously we're making more money than we're paying for the event. But um, I guess for me, and I guess maybe having been an athlete and that kind of thing, I try to figure out a fun way to have an interactive fundraiser so that people are actually doing something. And between California and Park City, Utah, where the weather and people are very outdoor oriented, it's something that I'm trying to figure out a really fun way to do a fundraiser, whereby people one of the ideas I have is to do a fundraiser in the wintertime here in Park City, where we've got all the Utah Olympic venues, and people can come up and try. We could even do it in the summertime. It could be winter or summer, but people can come try in the luge. People can come do the bobsled. People can go in the summertime and try the aerial jumps. There's a lot, and also just skiing in general. So it would be kind of, people do ski celebrity classics and golf classics and all that as well, but it would be kind of fun to do almost, be an Olympian for a day or winter Olympian for a day and try a new sport kind of thing. So I don't know if I really answered your question, but
I guess you did, because basically what I can conclude is you're saying two things. First of all, think outside of the box, be innovative,
yeah,
and also organize something fun.
yeah,
Okay,
exactly,
fun to do.
exactly.
Okay,
Good way
right.
to narrow it down.
Okay. Now we're going to show the promotional video of Kids International.